What's going on, guys? This is Foresight Capital, just bringing you a Friday evening update on the Palantir trade that we've been following over the past couple of trading days. A lot of you had commented on my Thursday video to provide a Friday evening update on just what happened just before the weekend, because we do have some very big price points coming up that are really going to decide the long-term trend for Palantir coming in the next couple of trading hours on Monday morning and Monday afternoon. For most people, you're going to see some big price movements, or at least some big price zones broken. All that I ask is that if this video brings you value, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so that you can catch future videos on Palantir and other stocks that we cover in depth on this channel. And so today, Palantir closed very flat relative to its overall volatility. We were down about 18 cents per share to $23.85. And that's just under 1% down on the day. So given the average daily volatility of this stock is over 5%, we're really seeing some flat trading, and that's really to be expected given the zone that we're in. So we've got a very long-term uptrend on the stock, and when I say very long-term, this stock has only been publicly traded for about 2 months, so long-term relative to its total time on the stock market of about a month here, that we've been following and grinding slowly up. And then we had a really big divergence in price where the stock price just absolutely went insane from about $18 or $18.50 per share all the way to $33. And then we saw a bleed off in the stock over a couple of trading days, and that's where people really became interested, was to get in the stock at an overall discount and much closer to the long-term uptrend that we had. However, there was a point where this downtrend that was established here with the pink line that was slowly pushing the price down might actually break the overall long-term uptrend that's been established since the end of October. However, as we called, the long-term uptrend continued to push the price above this downtrend when they converged here in this area. And we saw a little bit of a breakout after that, realistically. Now, these three lines here are lines that I would consider good buy zones, as well as good places to take profit. And I think for now, we've seen the end of this green buy zone, which is ultimately where you would have gotten the best deal on Palantir, because at that point, you've had a lot of support in the past, and you had an opportunity to buy at a little bit of a discount from previous support. After breaking this downtrend, we saw the price run up about 10%, and then we saw it fade back down below this yellow buy line, which has ultimately created some resistance, and that's our next big level that we really need to pay attention to, and it just so happens that it's going to come over the next couple of trading hours. So I've extended the chart out here for 25 trading hours, and we can see that these two lines are realistically going to converge if we look down here somewhere in the afternoon hours on Monday. So we can see here that Monday trading, we've got the early morning hours. We're really going to be wedged. If we don't see any big price action on Monday morning, the market will open at 9 o'clock Eastern time and will be pretty much at the end of this wedge. If we ride it all the way until the end, the big price action is going to happen when we either break below this line and this yellow line becomes new resistance, or when we break above it, we could see some relatively quick price action to the upside somewhere towards this red line, which would be about a $3 per share gain. You've got a downside from a $24.50 to $22.50. So we've got a really great setup here if you currently don't hold any Palantir at all, because we've got a good risk to reward ratio where you could realistically enter the stock where it is, or wait until it breaks above this yellow line and have the potential to make about $3 per share, while setting a stop loss down here and have the potential to lose about $2 per share. And when you're trading, that's the kind of setup that you're going to want, is something where you have the potential to gain more than you have the potential to lose. And once you've had that sort of setup and you consistently trade these sort of setups, you're going to become a profitable trader. If you're just looking for a good entry point for Palantir, somewhere close to this red line is going to be a good entry point, with one of these lines that will either be below as the green one is currently, or possibly the yellow. If we break above that line, those will be good entry points for you to get a good price on Palantir, even if you're going to hold it in the long term or if you're going to trade it. So here's what I think will ultimately happen on Monday. We're going to trade sideways in the morning unless something big happens in the stock. Over the weekend, realistically, the price is probably going to open up pretty close to where it closed on Friday, which was 23.85, right here in the middle of this wedge that we've created after breaking this downtrend. And we're going to see some flat trading. And then bulls are either going to come in and push the price above the yellow line, in which case we should see some pretty heavy volume like the candles that we saw here where bulls tried to push the price above the yellow line but were ultimately smashed back down by bears. Or we're going to see the price break below this trend and we could see a pretty quick sell-off down to previous support. Those are really the two kind of movements that we should realistically see on Monday. Now, if we see the bulls take over and push the price above the yellow line, let me go ahead and zoom this chart out just a little bit more to see realistically how we could see the price play out over the next couple of trading days. So we'll go ahead and extend this out about 150 hours, and that should get us to the point where we're going to see the price with a slow grind up towards this red resistance line. So if we break above the yellow line, we should see this long-term support that we've got with the red line continue to be support and push us up towards this red resistance line, which is another area that we're going to have to worry about when we get there. So we're basically breaking out of this smaller wedge into a much larger wedge here at this point. So you'll see some more volatility in the stock price moving forward if we enter this zone, because we've got a lot more room between these two support and resistance lines versus if we break to the downside. We've really got kind of a reverse wedge going at that point, and now we're going to see some low volatility in between these two lines, and then it could open up to some higher volatility if the price decides to trade between these two lines. However, if we see a bit of a bearish move, and let me go ahead and zoom this back out here so it's a little easier to see for those that are watching on their phone. We'll zoom this back to about 25 hours, which will get us through Monday. If we see the price break below this line and below the green line, the only thing that we really have to catch the price is the 200 period moving average, which has actually moved above the green line. So if it breaks below both of those, that's where we start to see the bear case of coming down here to the $18 per share range where we've had some previous support. And I'll make this a little bit thicker. And I know that we've got a ton of colors going on the screen here. I'm going to make this one orange and a little bit thicker. So if we see the price fall below the green, we've really got a long way to go. And that's where you have to start wondering, are you going to go ahead and cut losses and try to buy back more in this area? Or are you going to continue to hold and average down your position? I've also seen a lot of analysts say and a lot of traders say that they could realistically see the price falling all the way down to the $14 per share range. And we do have a little bit of support here. In fact, let me extend this line out a little bit. The next level of support, and I'll make this one just a bit wider as well, and we'll make this one blue so that just to confuse the colors a little more. The next level of support really is the $14 per share range. I don't personally see Palantir falling to that level. In fact, just given this long-term trend, the most likely scenario is that we end up somewhere in this upper area, and I'll go ahead and highlight it here. So we should end up somewhere up here. If the long-term trend continues, we'll get squeezed into this area, and the next level of resistance that we have is all the way up at 28. If we get pushed below, though, this area is going to be very important. And if we fall below this green line, you've really got to watch out for a drop all the way to the orange or to the blue. I think that this line is a lot less likely to happen because that would constitute a very big sell-off from the current price. But given that we were trading there just within 20 trading days, basically towards the beginning of November, it's not unthinkable to see a retest of some of these previous lows before either taking off again or consolidating for a long period of time. So that's just kind of my thought process here. Again, I know I've got a ton of different things going on the screen, but the most important thing that we're watching out for is what happens here on Monday morning and early Monday afternoon when we get squeezed between the red and the yellow line here. And depending on which way we go, either breaking above 2460 area, we're going to see probably some continuation of the upside until we get squeezed into this red wedge, or we're going to see some fall to the green side, and then bears are going to have to decide whether or not they want to push the price lower or continue to let it consolidate. So just my thoughts. I'm going to do a follow-up video probably on Sunday just before the market opens if I can find anything in the news about anything to do with Palantir over the weekend, and that could kind of decide which way the stock will trade. I'll definitely give a video update. So again, if the video brings you value, make sure to subscribe so that you can catch that video. Thanks for stopping by, and catch you in the next one.